Castro, no. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze.
What's good, loves? So in this video, I'll be showing you how to use heat transfer paper on your t-shirts. So with this process, full disclosure, I don't know if it was my printer or if it was just my impatience or whatever habit is. All I know is I had a bit of a struggle with this process. Let's go ahead and put it that way. I had a bit of a struggle with this process. I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest with you. But I learned enough to give you the basics and enough to show you exactly how to finish it out. Yeah, this shirt's kind of tight. I ain't even gonna lie. If I lift it, it's gonna come. Anyway, so before we get into it, materials list. Alright, so Photoshop is completely optional, but I would recommend using some kind of app that would help you remove the background in your image. And of course you need your Cricut, your mat, your weaver tool, cheap tape if your mat has lost adhesive, an inkjet printer or a white toner printer with the ink to match whichever printer you have, your transfer paper of choice, your vinyl of choice if it is a part of your design, parchment paper, an iron or a heat press machine, and your fabric of choice. So now that you're ready, you have 3 separate ways that you can go about doing this. The simple method, of course, just to print and cut, just literally uploading it as a print and cut image and then flattening it to insert and all that other good stuff. And you have 2 other methods. 2 other methods, but it's still combined as one kind of technically because it involves fonts. So without further ado, let's get to the print and cut method. Print and cut is such an easy method that I decided to add a little bit of extra on this particular demonstration. So once uploaded, tap complex because you want the most detailed version of your image. Then tap continue. In your eraser screen, if you have anything in your background you don't want, simply tap it out. And once you're done, tap apply and continue. Now, tap print then cut image, name your image, then tap upload. Once uploaded to your canvas, you'll notice that when you try to size it up, Cricut will not allow it to go beyond 6.75 by 9.25 inches. So in this demonstration, I'll show you how to work within those limits. But coming up, I'm gonna show you how to work outside of those limits. So for now, go to shapes, tap any one of the shapes that you want. I chose a square. You can either unlock it or simply just drag it over your design. Once completed, select both your designs, then tap slice. Once cut, delete only the excess, and then go to your layers and bring to front your image layer. Now perfectly situated, select both of your images as is, then tap flatten. This process simply allows for your image to have the cleanest cut around the edges of your design. So since we're technically now done, we're gonna spice it up just a little bit. So once my image was done, I went to offset, tapped the square edge, slid the line a little bit, and created a border around my image. For demonstration purposes, we'll leave it black. So now let's add some fonts. For Goddess, I use Photograph Signature font, and for God Is, I use Norse font. Once I had all my fonts together the way that I needed them, I changed all of their colors. Also, to note, whenever you do have words that connect like in Goddess, what you would need to do is tap your font and then tap weld. When you weld it, it becomes one image, one cuttable image versus individuals' letters that need to be cut. And once you are ready to cut, for white or light color fabrics, you will have to mirror your image. For black or dark color fabrics, leave your image as is. To show you how to print, I'll be using a clip from YouTuber DIY Alex. So now that you're ready to cut, tap send to printer. In your printer setup, if you don't see your printer in printer, go ahead and tap it and then just choose your printer. Copy is where you can make multiple versions of the same image. Add bleed is if you skip the flatten step or just chose to not take the flatten step. Add bleed pretty much just spreads your design out a little bit more so it has more image than white area in your cut. System dialog turned on, and once you press print, it will pop up your printer screen. In your printer screen, this is where you can change up your printing preferences. Those preferences may include a gloss finish or a matte finish or pretty much any kind of setting that your printer has. So once you have made your selections and you're good to go, go ahead and press OK and press print. So now that you're ready to print, place your sheets in one sheet at a time with the lines or the lettering facing the tray and the blank area facing you. You want for your image to print on the blank area and not the back where the line is or your image is. Now, before we end out with the heating process, I have one more demonstration to show you. Remember those limitations? I'm going to show you how to work around them. So first, grab any image that you would like as your background, upload it, tap complex, and go through the same uploading process as before. Once in your canvas, go ahead and hide your layer, go to text, and add your font. For this demonstration, I use varsity font on all caps for God's will. After tapping well to make it one image, I then resize my God's will over my roses to kind of make it fit a little bit more so you can see the roses in the font. Once satisfied, I selected both, tapped slice, and then deleted all of my excess. And of course, the Cricut system sees my image as far too large, so I went to shapes, grabbed some squares, slid it over my wheel, and sliced it out. With my two fonts now separated but still too big, I then went to box again and repeated the slicing process for the S and the L. So now with all of my excess deleted, Cricut now sees all of my pieces as cuttable. So now, time to flatten. I went back to shapes, added them all to my letters, sliced them all, and deleted only the boxes around each one. Once done, I went to each piece and sent the cut layers to the back so that my image will be back at the front. And once all was said and done, I flattened every single piece. With my design now done, I went to make it, and this is how my mats look in the system. Now, if you want to conserve paper and you don't want all of your images all over the place and you feel like you can get as many pieces on one or two sheets as possible, then do this process. Go back to shapes, grab a square, and go to the unlock tool and type in 6.75 by 9.25, since those are the limits. Now right click that box and send it to the back. Now take your font and place them in the box how you would want them both printed and cut. So now that your design is done and you're ready to cut, I'm going to show a video clip of another YouTuber who's going to show us the cutting process and then the ironing on process. The reason for this is because my printer, I'm giving it away. I don't want to bother with it no more. I got new ink for it, all that good stuff. I'm just over it at this point. It's probably just emotion, that's why I ain't gave it away or nothing like that. But at this point, it's staying in my closet where it's at. So I'll say that to say, on to the video.
Okay, so these are the two different images. This one is the light transfer paper, and you know that because remember we have the red lines on the back. And then this one is the dark transfer paper, and remember that because it has the blue lines on the back. Okay, so first one we are going to do is the light transfer fabric, or the light fabric transfer paper, sorry. Okay, so you're just gonna lay your image here. Gonna lay your image on the shirt or whatever blank you're using. Okay, and then even though it has the sheet on there to protect it, I still always use my what is this? I cannot think of the name of it right now. Okay, whatever. So, I'm gonna go ahead and press it. Oh, I forgot it's on the way up. Okay, so here we go. Pressing it. We're gonna go ahead and just do 20 seconds for right now. Okay, so with your light fabric transfer paper, it has to cool down before you take it off, or it will mess up the image. So we're gonna go ahead and just put it to the side while we do our second t-shirt. So as you may have already seen from my onesie video, usually for kids t-shirts, I almost always have to use this receiving blanket just to raise up the middle of the shirt. So with your dark fabric transfer paper, you want to turn it over so this comes off. So you want to take this off before you press it onto the t-shirt. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to get. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Now you're just gonna lay the image onto the t-shirt. All right. So in your package, you will get protective sheets, these, and you're gonna go ahead and use that to go over your image. This one will be 20 seconds as well. And it comes right off. Alright, so now that it has time to cool down, we're gonna go ahead and peel it. I'm gonna peel it very slowly. Alright, here's the outcome for the light fabric transfer paper and then the dark fabric transfer paper.
And that is all, folks. But of course, before we go, I gotta show you the potential mistakes that you can run into. My main issue here, I ain't even gonna lie, you gonna feel my tone change a little bit when I speak on it with my own personal experience, because I felt some type of way, I ain't even gonna lie. But I'm slowly getting over it. Anyway, my main issue was my color preference. Something about my color preference, like I don't know if I researched wrong or if I didn't understand my system right, or if honestly I was just too impatient and didn't feel like trying to sit down and really understand it, because I ain't even gonna lie, y'all see everything that I've been creating. I've had so much on my mind, so I really feel like I just did not have the mental space at the time to really figure out the process. But my main issue was color frequency. As you can see from these t-shirts here, the colors were off. I wanted them to be every single color of the rainbow, literally. Not because of obvious reasons, but just because I like to have colors in my design. I was just now starting to really learn art. Well, I was just now starting to learn how to get into the colors and merging the colors and blending colors. So I just wanted to add colors to my designs. But for some reason, I couldn't get the right shades to print right. But anyway, here it is. So this was before I learned the flatten process and when I was still using my Photoshop. So in Photoshop, I originally created my designs with the black outline because I figured if I use the bleed, it'll bleed out and it'll cut out the excess of the white. And that didn't work. So for right now, honestly, the only recommendation I can give to avoid this effect for black t-shirts is to just simply use the flatten effect. So if you're like me and you have issues with the heat transfer, or you just can't really do heat transfer paper, well, here's your alternative. When the heat transfer paper didn't work for me, I discovered the heat transfer printed vinyl. You can either buy the pre-printed version like these, or you can buy the printable versions. With the printable vinyl, you can easily just print your own design directly to the vinyl. And that is all, folks. So if you liked the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more, subscribe. By all means, I can guarantee y'all know I'm coming with some extra stuff and I ain't tripping about it. If y'all here for it, I'm here with it too. Let's get it, you feel me? So without further ado, look out for part 9. I'm getting there, y'all. We almost done. It's part 9 of it. This is part 8. And we're on up to part 9. And as I said in the last video, yes, I'm writing everything down. Y'all don't mind me, man. I'm just goofy. Everything I do is extra, and I'm just, when it comes to art, I'm always on 10. When it comes to art, art is my life. Art is my passion. You're going to always see me be extra with art in every single form. That's why every single one of these videos, I'm being extra, hype, all that. Excuse me. So, if you're looking to learn how to customize hats, beanies, or belts, look out for part 9, because I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. So until then, y'all be blessed.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion, yeah.